Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to another live stream. Another Saturday. It's already the 22nd of April. If you are new, my name is Pedro, and yeah, I'm a trader. And on Saturdays, what we do usually, or what I like to do, is to do a weekly market analysis, kind of forecast potential zones to look for trades for next week. And we do that together. I decided to go live to do that. It was something that I was doing just on my own. Why not share with others? If you guys have any key levels that you are looking for, feel free to share as well. We can discuss about it. Usually we cover FX, major FX pairs, gold as well, indices, S&P, NASDAQ, DAX, something that we look at as well, and then Bitcoin, Ethereum. So those are basically the assets that I usually cover. So if you have any other that you want me to take a look at, feel free to share, and so feel free to participate in the chat and to let me know any key levels that you are looking for next week. Which bias do you have? Are you looking for the dollar to continue to go higher, or to just continue to move to the downside? It was a weird week, to be honest. Basically, looking at the dollar index, we created the Monday high and low, and that's it. And we got stuck within that range. We never managed to break either above Monday's highs, I believe. We got close on Wednesday, but I don't think we broke it. And we never managed to break Monday's low, which is quite rare, to be honest, to see something like this, which was the same on the euro dollar. At least I think the other FX pairs, I think the other main currency pairs related to the dollar, I think they actually managed to break at least the Monday high or low. So basically, looking at the dollar in terms of the analysis that we can do, comparing with last week, there's not much an improvement in there, because we didn't really collected much more information. By looking at the dollar index, actually maybe the information that we got is that we actually managed to break this high, so that may open the door a little bit for price to go a bit higher. Now I think eventually what we would like to see, I would like honestly to see maybe another confirmation upwards, and then to take the lows and go higher, or maybe can just literally take the lows and create that move and go higher as well. So yeah, if last week, after we had a closing in a really strong Friday in here, and I mentioned that yes, Monday I'm expecting price to continue to rally and to move in the same direction as previous Friday. This Monday, I have no clue. Maybe the dollar is going to finally break a little bit its lows. I have literally no clue what's going to happen until we kind of move away from this range where we are at this point. We'll see what the dollar wants to do and it's going to do. So no clue whatsoever. Again, we looked at a few different levels that maybe dollar could react from. Yes, we pay attention to a little bit of the structure that was created a little bit after we had this big rally. That's kind of a little bit, that's more than taken. Like we already have 1 touch, 2 touches, maybe even consider this one, almost 6 touches or 5 touches in there. So eventually we're going to break this level, same way that eventually we're going to manage to break these highs. Right, so we are literally in this range. What else? What other levels can you look for? We have, of course, these left shoulders in here. We have another kind of double low in there. So there may be something in here that price can and go to, maybe react from. So this can be somewhere in here in alignment, something to look for. We do also have, of course, this was basically the last supply that made out this move down. So somewhere in alignment to that zone as well, a little bit of a quasi-model in here that price kind of ignored. We have a little bit of a range in here. So maybe somewhere in here or a little bit somewhere underneath, there can be some reaction, and maybe that could be the zone to fake out all these lows before moving higher. If by any chance price completely ignores these levels and just maybe does something like this, maybe reacts from there and then reacts from this previous level support working as resistance, we may go then navigate towards more of these lows out of the way in here. Don't forget that the week before this one, we actually managed to break slight with this low in here. Like, even though we never actually managed to break the demand where that low was reacting from. So yes, overall, I think we could see eventually a little bit of a move upwards on the dollar. But yeah, it was a super strange week in that regard. It's true that we didn't really have any major macro data coming out this last week. So, but either way, right? Even if when you don't have those big news, price still moves. At least creates a little bit of a momentum, which was not the case this week. Looking at the data for next week, regarding to the dollar and the Fed, we have the PCE inflation on Friday on the 28th. So that's basically the last big data point that comes out before the Fed meeting on the 3rd of May. So basically in 10 days time, we're going to have the next Fed meeting. 25 basis points is what everyone is expecting. Question mark is then what's going to happen afterwards. Yeah, that's kind of the question mark. Yeah, so that's basically in terms of big news. We have in Japan that there's the first monetary policy meeting with the new governor. That's going to be interesting. Maybe some volatility on the yen to be expected, and I think nothing much CPI in the Australia and nothing much going on. GDP as well in the US. Yeah. So yeah, dollar again. I need to see structure being broken, and maybe this was maybe the only piece of information that we collected of seeing price maybe wants to go a little bit higher, but in reality then even between all this zone in here, price never even managed to break this high, right? Kind of the level itself is maybe this, something like this, but yeah, maybe breaking off this highs can maybe give a little bit of a clue. I would have definitely like to see price creating a new high in there. So just 1 second. Yeah, you guys tell me your idea on the dollar. What are you looking for? I'm still a little bit biased to the upside, the same way that I'm still thinking that the euro wants to go a little bit lower before even thinking about resuming the move to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm looking for at this point. So this one was taken kind of, there's a little bit of a compression in here. Price may even go a little bit higher again. This already took these levels from here. Yes, eventually we could feel maybe all this, navigate a little bit towards that level. Something in here at the extremes as well. So let's just check in the lower time frame. Yeah, this demand zone is still, this is nice. We had this supply. You guys see, you had this basically this supply, what is in alignment again with all these lows. Price didn't really respect the supply and kind of flipped, and it now created a demand zone kind of just underneath that level, and you have all these lows that can be used to take and be used in here to collect liquidity just underneath all of this. So it's going to be interesting to see if this level is going to work or not. Something to keep an eye on, something in there. Right, so we had this supply, this high never touched the supply, so this supply should be still a little bit in place, and it was, as you can see, it touched and then went down. It respected immediately this IKM that was in here, so it touched it and goes. So basically the levels that I was even mentioned before in the higher time frame, basically they were kind of touched in here. You can see this line was touched by these two lows. So it kind of takes a little bit the orders or makes this level weaker in the future when price comes here. So maybe actually price can actually just respect a little bit this level in here on the bigger picture with this demand zone in there. So yeah, just two levels to keep an eye on. Okay, no data. Yep. But that's something that I'll keep an eye on to see how the dollar is going to behave around here, which kind of would mean for the dollar to maybe make a new high, taking all the highs that we are. Going to look at the euro dollar in a bit, just to see. Okay, not going to really spend much more time with the dollar index. Then eventually, if it wants to go a little bit lower, maybe somewhere in there to look for. All right, so what we look at after this is the indices. So looking at the indices, in particular S&P, NASDAQ, and DAX. The indices have been a little bit more volatile this week. The earnings, like we are in earnings season, we had some big banks already announcing. We had Netflix and we had Tesla. Tesla disappointing completely. Actually, Tesla, I'm going to show you in a bit. It's actually really nice, the price action, even focus on the way that kind of we look at the market and get these kind of spots of liquidity, spot resistance, supply demand. Like these concepts, actually Tesla has been behaving amazingly in that sense. And kind of this move to downside was kind of expected in that sense. So we have S&P, right? So, and regarding the S&P, there's a little bit of a difference between the data that kind of I'm looking at here. For example, maybe the data from TradingView, because in here actually managed to break slightly this high. On TradingView didn't really manage to break that high. Kind of we're still nevertheless trading within this supply level. Again, I would still like to see maybe price navigating a little bit closer to that level before moving down. But on the intraday, I kind of trading zone by zone this week. It was quite interesting. All right, so we had the turn. There was a great short opportunity in here. I know some of the guys that managed to catch that great short in here. After taking this one, we had test level as well, and it was a really good entry in here. After kind of we broke this level, entering in there and driving the move a twist toward this low, if not even actually aiming towards this demand zone. Especially after price broke this level, the target then becomes this zone in here, and kind of price reached there. So what we have after that is literally we create a new level in here, even in alignment with this with the left shoulder also in there, and there you go. That's where price now goes to. Take out this mid-range in here, because this I never got there. So that's kind of what it does, and it moves down. And there was a way for us to look at and expect maybe price actually to continue, because in this case, basically S&P kind of reached its target, which was this demand zone. There's not exactly a break to the downside. Maybe you can consider the break of this trend line, but kind of price reached its target. However, if you actually look at the correlation between the indices, you could have seen that NASDAQ actually had broken this low, kind of this demand. So maybe by looking at that, you could have reinforced the idea that maybe there's more room to the downside, as NASDAQ actually broke this structure when price came here, right? So I can just quickly show that in this case, right? So S&P kind of respected the demand zone, but NASDAQ actually managed to break it. So it opens a little bit the door also to go further down, and on the S&P, it will be on the NASDAQ, it will be kind of the retest of this zone, kind of to go then out below that level, to go somewhere in there. And we kind of had also the same thing. Then kind of you can see what pattern you have in here, and then price just moves and finally reaches his target. At S&P. Hey Jack, how are you, man? How is everything? I'm going to look at Bitcoin in a bit. I'm actually going to start trading Bitcoin. I'm going to add it into my playlist. I haven't really been doing it, just analyzing it. I'm going to start trying to trade it as well. It's because of you guys. And so yes, S&P. Yeah, nice move. So information, we have taken the highs. Nevertheless, we may actually continue to navigate a little bit further down and maybe get a little bit closer to that level. As I mentioned quite a few times, I do like the initially when price was approaching out, kind of it was in here. I wasn't really seeing any slow kind of price losing momentum. But now, after all this compression and whatnot, I think we are starting to notice a little bit of that momentum that is kind of shifting a little bit. Maybe the sellers are starting to gain control. Is this a distribution phase where maybe kind of price will eventually start moving to the downside? Maybe it is. Again, it has been mostly due to the earnings that we have seen this indices moving a little bit down. Dollar hasn't done anything whatsoever. And let's see if that's one of the reasons for the indices also not really kind of completely move to the downside. Maybe waiting a little bit for the dollar to kind of start to accelerate before maybe the indices also kind of move in that way. Nevertheless, I'm still open to the possibilities I mentioned to see S&P to go a little bit closer to the highs, to literally take and fake out this high, not just this one, and then turn. But if it doesn't do that, if it just by any chance starts to turn from where it is right now, I think I'll be okay with it as well. I think we are maybe in a good position, a good possibility to start looking for those maybe for those shorts. At this point, I'm still not looking for price to do something like this. I think there's still all this level of structuring here that needs to be broken first, and even if it's broken, maybe there's still going to occur that maybe deep retracement before the move down. Or if by any chance, maybe can try to find an opportunity and just something like this to actually maybe try to eventually fill all this space in here that we may go and fill on S&P. So for now, any target for shorts, I'll be still looking just for price to get closer to these lows, and that was it. There's even maybe a little bit of a retracement in here into this demand zone that can maybe work. There's kind of maybe there's a little bit of spike in here. Yeah, I think there's maybe still a good level in there. We could even kind of take these lows, literally confirm maybe that price may want to go further down. Nevertheless, you still use a little bit of this demand that's kind of still fresh, or even maybe this level in here to use price to bounce back again before maybe the turn. So yes, and we are in this case, this compression kind of, even now the way you are going away from here, it's kind of a little bit on compression. So there's all basically opportunities, either if you are looking for long shorts on intraday level, there has been kind of good opportunities in here. Yeah, basically collecting the left shoulders on the, as price is moving away, kind of price collecting kind of the orders from the left shoulders. That's it. So let's see what's going to happen on the indices. Again, I like how price is slowing down, losing momentum. The sellers are starting to manage to break slightly some lows. But again, if there is any last rush to the upside, just to literally kind of take all those orders, I'm totally okay with it. Let's see what kind of movement you're going to have this week. And as I mentioned, in around 10 days, 11 days, we're going to have Fed meeting, right? You're having fun trading at the moment, right? Yeah, it's good. It's good to have that kind of feeling, positive energy. Yeah, to wake up every day with the right mindset, looking for the possibilities that the market offers, because that's a way to actually being able to capitalize on the opportunities. There's opportunities that are almost there. Question mark is if you can identify them and see them. Sometimes it's just the way we approach our day, and be the kind of the difference between being able to identify them, those opportunities, or not. And you may get stuck thinking that there's nothing in there, but in reality there's always something. in there. But yeah, man, Bitcoin has been having really great moves as well, which is nice. All right, so this is S&P, NASDAQ, a little bit similar. Finally, it moved. It was this week, right? It finally moved and it picked out all these highs towards that level. It's a little bit similar to the Dow movement back in January or February. I'm not really remember now when it was. Second. Okay, changing the music. Yeah, nice one. Price which we created all these accumulation of highs in here. Eventually that will be faked out, and we had literally this level still above this that was still fresh, and that's where price went to, reacted, and again, this could have been a great short opportunity. Again, I know some of you guys that managed to catch that short, which was really good. Similar to the S&P, as soon as you break this low, kind of looking for the next target. As soon as you break this low, looking for the next target, and we kind of move on like this, right? So you can keep position a little bit open to see what kind of levels the price is breaking, and try to aim that for target. Or if by any chance you close out your position, maybe you can start to look for ways to get short again and look for short opportunities again. So again, S&P is similar. We kind of reach a little bit of the target within this range. Right, it was this one, so we kind of reached that level. So there's not exactly more space to go down if price by any chance wants to go and breaks again. This break of the low may have actually have opened already the space towards this level in here. So expecting maybe price to reach this level before maybe breaking this high. But for now, just to be a little bit more conservative, yes, this demand zone in here was the target for any sales that we're looking for there at this point. So if price by any chance reinforces and breaks again this low, then yes, then kind of I think it's going to be a little bit more confidence that price may actually go eventually reach this level in here before maybe breaking the high. So then you can play that space as you want, and depending on the opportunities that price offers you in between these levels. And that's kind of where we are on NAS. Again, if you go a little bit higher, I wouldn't mind. I think this may be just a little bit of a range that price is creating. Eventually, maybe we can create a little bit more of a low, and we could do something like that. That could be the idea, right? A little bit similar to what this high just created, but then eventually actually create that high from all this range, and actually take all the liquidity from here. So that's kind of something that I will be looking for on NASDAQ. Then we have DAX. DAX has been one that actually I tried to trade. I'm still not really trading indices, but DAX this week I was really interested on to look for opportunities. However, the best setups occurred when the market was about to close. Price is reacting from all this extreme. At this point, you are approaching the all-time highs in there with this double top. Back in the last January 2022, but now we are approaching this level in here. So price already kind of had a really good reaction from this level. There's even a chance for price to go a little bit higher and eventually can go towards that zone, a little bit towards this zone in here. It's kind of maybe where price eventually it's going to. Nevertheless, there's maybe some opportunities in here too for sales, but yes, I would like to see price actually going above this high in there. So what we are seeing right now, again, this was a little bit of the compression that I wanted to see being filled. Initially, there's a move down. Price takes this last demand zone, and after that, everything is taken all the way until the next target, which will be again this demand zone. If you had broken below this level, then next target it will be somewhere in here, maybe within alignment to this previous level support resistance. But we respected this demand zone. Like you can see that the lows pause in here. There's literally space until that level, and that's basically where price eventually touched and reversed. Yes, so opportunity actually it was somewhere in there, but again it was really around the closing of the session, so that didn't really open any trade in there. All of a sudden price just dropped. Initially doesn't really reach the target, now touch it and goes. So I'm still maybe open even to the possibility, depending on how price opens next Monday. Maybe there's another one, even though kind of price respected the target, so maybe you can have a little bit more of an extra high before maybe making another attempt to move down. But literally the move that I wanted to catch, it was actually more of this one. Since the target now has been taken, or kind of the move has been done, this place has been filled. Now I need to reassess and try to find new opportunities to look for on the DAX. Now let's pay attention. I'm going to keep following down what price may do in here before maybe trying to attempt any next short opportunity in here. So let's see what's going to happen on the DAX, but I will definitely keep an eye on it. And then we have Dow Jones, just a similar move that I mentioned before, comparing with the NASDAQ. It's this one, right? We had all this accumulation of highs, strong structure, and then all of a sudden we had that fake out, and then after that, that's when finally price moved and filled this price, right? We have been mentioning how this move, expecting price to go at least break this level. Since price broke this low, that's been kind of, if you watch my previous live streams, was a broken disc, kind of repeating always the same message for 2 months until finally price made that move down. At this point, this level in here kind of needs to be broken a little bit for price to go there. We may then just continue to go higher, but you are approaching again these highs, so maybe this can be a level for Dow to kind of resume the move to the downside. We'll see, because we actually managed to break a little bit these lows, so this can actually maybe be a little bit of a opening space to go further down, but we need first to break this level and then kind of to start breaking this level, to start opening the door for price to go there. So it's something to keep an eye on the zones in there. Yeah, so now if you take a look at the other ones, so starting with the Euro Index. Like Euro Index has been moving to the upside. It finally broke that level of structure in here that I was looking for. Second. So yeah, like initially I had kind of this level marked. Second, where is it? It's in here. Initially I had kind of this level in here marked, kind of price reacted from it, kind of went a little bit down, respected this level, and then kind of started moving upwards, still respected a little bit, but then it never really managed to break anything, so just respected the next level of support resistance, and it continues to move higher, right? So it even now leaves this place a little bit of this demand for the future, but for now kind of Euro Index, it looks like just continues to go higher. So we kind of broke that high in here, so that can kind of open the door for price to go a little bit higher. We may have still a little bit of this supply zone that maybe price could respect and retrace a little bit, but eventually I'm looking for price to get closer to this 1041 mark above this high in here. That's kind of what I'm looking for eventually, now that we broke that high. Nevertheless, as I mentioned, kind of had a little bit of that supply level. Price could even react from there, retrace all the way back, take these lows, respect this demand, and kind of then resume the move higher to fill the compression all the way until that level 1040. That kind of I'm looking for. So price can actually do that. Price can actually respect that supply that's in the between that compression zone. Hold it, target these lows, take the lows, respect kind of maybe a little bit of this demand zone, and after that kind of makes the move, maybe respect there, and then finally we may have the turn. So just something to keep an eye on. We actually still have maybe a little bit of this demand zone in here, since those lows never really kind of reacted from here. All these lows in here, kind of just paused, never really reacted from there. So maybe that the reaction doesn't even need to break these lows now. Maybe just take these lows and then resume the move higher. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. So nice reaction from this previous support resistance, kind of reacting from this level. Yeah, it's kind of what we have on Euro index. Again, Euro dollar has been super ranging, but if you take a look at what Euro pound, maybe Euro Aussie, Euro CAD also finished in a strong move up. Hey, I'm Bob Trader FX. Thank you, man. Thank you for the nice words. What pairs do you trade? I'm not even asking the assets since you have FX in your name, so I presume you're trading Forex. But what assets do you look for, man? And is my voice okay to visit on the background? Is it not annoying? And I hope you're not falling asleep either with my voice. Aussie, Euro dollar. All right. Do you have any bias? What you are looking for? I'm going to analyze Euro dollar and Aussie in a bit. Yeah, perfect. Okay. All good then. Thank you, man. Yeah, Euro index, I kind of presume that I could see price going maybe slowly going higher, but there's maybe a potential retracement occurring in here. We do have indeed this strong compression as well that's going on in here. So eventually we may have actually that move down, and then maybe the continuation to the upside. So maybe that also can, whenever we do that, maybe that's when maybe Euro dollar are going to resume the move to the downside as well. So just something to keep an eye on. You are Aussie long right now. All right. Okay, I'll take a look into it. What time frame are you looking for? Are you kind of more of a swing trader? Guys, you're calling me sir, man. You make me look older, man. I'm not that old. Yes, yen index. This is another one. This was actually the kind of the pairs that I was more focused on, the yen pairs. I was looking for that reversal to the downside. Again, yen index is the inverse correlated when you're then looking at the individual yen pairs. If yen index is about to go up, the dollar yen, euro yen, pound yen, they are going down, right? So, and we had this strong trend line in here, as you can see. And aside from this strong trend line, and if you remember what I mentioned, first of all, when price paused in here, I was not really convinced that price has reached its final target. I was expecting price to move a little bit further down, and then kind of we had a little bit of a reaction from this level in here, but then we had this zone of demand with this kind of still left shoulder in here that was even more attractive, and that you can actually use this low as liquidity, or then can actually push price to the upside, and even created kind of a double bottom in there, which is nice to see. And there you go, right? So this was kind of the setups that I was more looking for on the yen pairs. I was paying attention to this strong trend line, this strong reversal, and we start respecting this demand zone. There was a zone in here that I was still paying attention to that could hold price down, kind of this supply level. That kind of price still hold it a little bit, and they'll finally, this was I think Thursday in the afternoon, that finally price broke through and feel the space, right? You have all this compression. Again, even though we have maybe all this compression from these highs from the beginning of month of April, maybe 6th of April, and eventually maybe that's going to be the case of price maybe filling out this space all the way until there. It doesn't mean that there's no more fresh supplies in here in between, right? Sometimes there aren't, sometimes there still is some supplies in there. So you need to be aware of them. For example, in here, yeah, everything maybe has been taken, but in here, this one is still fresh, right? You can see that price moves down, starts a little bit of this compression, never takes that order, and in here everything is compressed again. Kind of there's still the supply in here that price maybe takes it a little bit in there, and then yes, and then we finally break through and you feel this first space. So in order then for price to kind of start noticing or looking for price to eventually fill this space, I would like to see, of course, this level to be taken. that can open the door. So yes, I'm aware that maybe price from here actually is going to do that, but you need to be playing zone by zone. Right, you cannot just be blindly expecting price to just do that. No, if you do break that level, yes, the expectation should be for price to fill this initial supply compression zone, to go to that level, and after that reassess. So at least take some profits in here. By any chance you are for example long in this kind of setup, make sure you take some profits in there. If you don't want to really close all of it, at least take some profits. And yes, you can even then reassess how price is reacting from this level. If you start seeing some rejection, some weakness on price, close all of it. If you by any chance price was just kind of in a really strong move, okay, maybe you can find a way to keep some position opens in there, a percentage of the position. So there you go. We move down and let's see now what's going to happen. Again, now we are stuck within these two levels. So let's see which direction we are going to go through. Going to retrace this level all the way to this supply level, kind of bounce in between this range, or by any chance we're going to finally break one or the other. Depending on that, then we start collecting new information for the future. Kind of the move that I was looking for, that's basically done in here. Like even the first move that I was looking for, this is something to actually it's a good idea to pay attention to, because what do we have in here, right? Literally we have this level of structure, right? We have these lows, and then we have straightaway demand zone underneath it, right? So even if and you can see literally the demand is fresh, right? So maybe the high probability move that you could expect from here, it's just a move from here all the way to test this previous level of support resistance, and that's it. And maybe price then will just resume the move down. So you can indeed try to attempt for a long from here with a target in there, and that will be it. And that's this move. Now price decides, as you can see, decides not to stop in there. One second. Price decides not to just stop in there, right? Price actually now decides to even go higher, and not just go higher, even break some highs in here. So this is now the moment that you can start maybe attempting to go a little bit higher. Nevertheless, price actually retested this trend line. So if you pay attention to trend lines, maybe you are still not certain that price wants to go higher. If you are looking a bit more of a horizontal way, maybe you can get that information that maybe price wants to go a little bit higher, maybe towards at least until there, or it can start maybe navigating closer there to level. So yes, when price when price retraces, that's the moment that maybe you can start attempting for higher. In the beginning, from here you can just aim to this level, and that's it. That's your target. That's your trade. Get out of there when you see that happening. And then, of course, as price keeps providing the information, as price keeps going, now after finally maybe the break of this, now you have maybe your confirmation, or kind of you can start to attempt to go and to actually finally have this kind of move in here, right? This is just to see how we should be kind of managing our expectations on the levels that we are trying to trade, based on where is a high probability level that maybe price wants to react and retrace after that. Just a second. Right. Yeah, that was for the yen pairs, which we're going to take a look into them individually in a bit. So yeah, now let's see. Again, within this range, let's see which direction we are going to. I think that also I'm going to start. Didn't know there was this pair, but apparently there is. Asset, which is this British pound index as well. I just found out about this one yesterday, so I'm not going to really do much analysis on it today, because I want to see exactly how does it correlate with the pound dollar and so on. But looking at this chart, we may be close to a potential even move higher from here. I need to compare. I need to see where actually are those lows. Actually, this is stopped. This is not updating anymore. Oh, I just realized this. Last time I got data from here, it was in 2021. All right. If any of you know any British pound index, any pound index, sorry, not British pound, any pound index, British pound index, what the hell, it's the same thing. Just let me know, or any Aussie index as well. Just let me know from TradingView. All right, let's move on to the individual pairs. Okay, you pay attention to the 4-hour time frame on the Aussie. Okay. So euro, similar to dollar index, nothing much. Basically I wanted to look for a shorting here without these highs. That's kind of what I was looking for. But when price finally reached kind of the target that I was looking for, which the target was the retest of this demand zone of these lows, and since price actually respected it perfectly, then I don't have a target anymore, so I'm not looking anymore for a short in there. The price even then respected once again the next target, which was this demand. That's eventually when it touched there. But since price kind of is starting to respect every single demand, eventually I'm actually expecting for price to go higher than this before maybe making the move down. And basically that was it. Basically price respecting every single demand, slightly breaking new highs, but just still respecting that level. I didn't open any trade on the euro this week. I spent it initially. If one of these levels had gone there and price hasn't retraced and touched one of these levels, I would have tried to short in there when price went there. But since that never occurred, price just paused in here, so then I lost my interest. Nevertheless, I can still see this one kind of engulfed down. Maybe price wants to aim a little bit farther down in there. So I will fantasize the idea of price going a little bit higher. We do have this level in there as well. So I will be open to the idea of seeing price maybe getting a little bit closer to that level and then maybe down. Yeah, I mean, it was very, very weird. The euro dollar and the dollar index, we literally didn't manage to break neither the highs and lows from Monday session, which is quite strange for price to just stay within the range of the Monday session. That's not usually what happens. That's a really rare occasion. So yes, open to the possibility of maybe price going slightly higher and turn. And this is the question, kind of. I would have definitely prefer to see kind of a new break of this low to reinforce the idea of price moving down from here. Since that really hasn't happened just yet, I wouldn't mind to see maybe price creating again another middle range in here and then moving down until eventually goes to that extreme in there. So kind of then in the future it could go there. So again, I'm kind of opening the possibility somewhere in here or somewhere in here, potential shorts. Nevertheless, in the bigger picture, if you actually look at the euro, I'm still open to the idea of price actually going a little bit higher, closer to that level. Price at this point reacting from here, basically from the base of this kind of daily low, this last bullish daily low. That's kind of where we are. It was actually a nice compression up. So I'm still expecting eventually price to go a little bit to the extreme towards that level, 1.11 something. But nevertheless, for now, I would like to see maybe price going first in here before even maybe breaking these new highs. So that's kind of what I would like to see. Kind of price broke this low quite nicely. So yeah, going a little bit higher before maybe moving down. A little bit similar to the dollar index, to be honest. Going a little bit down and then taking the lows to go higher. There's nothing much literally to talk about on the euro dollar. Again, the only piece of information that I collected, it was this one, but nevertheless, price kind of has been respecting every single money in here and kind of creating slightly new highs. So let's see what's going to happen in here. Pound is a little bit different, right? Because again, pound, while euro kind of broke this low but stopped in there, pound actually eventually made out the move to retest this low. Kind of this is the target that I'm looking for on the euro, the lows from the 10th of April, right? So the lows from the 10th of April, these lows, and kind of euro managed to break this level, but pound already kind of made the move and filled this price and respected this low. The pound reached his target. Euro hasn't reached his target, right? So pound did that. And that's kind of where I'm looking for a little bit more on the euro. Regarding to the pound, in here, kind of it's okay. Prices kind of continues to go higher since we actually managed to respect the target. So there's no more actually space to downside until kind of we manage to break new lows, which it may happen. And if it happens, then we start shifting the bias towards that direction. Regarding to the pound, bigger picture, yes, there's maybe still a little bit more room to the upside. Nevertheless, we start to create also this kind of range in here in the middle. Eventually, we could go a little bit higher to go further down. I would definitely prefer to see a proper break of these lows, which we open that space for price to go down. Because if price kind of starts going higher in a really strong move, I may actually expect new highs before even attempting to look for any short opportunity in here, since we kind of respected nicely these lows. So yes, depending if we do break some of these lows, it's going to be kind of a big factor in my decision making in terms of looking for shorts if price gets closer to these highs. That's kind of what I'm looking for on the pound. Another one super choppy and not really proper moves in either way. It moved definitely a little bit more than the euro, that's for sure. Aussie. So yeah, let's take a look at the Aussie. Where are you long from about Red FX? Because on the Aussie, again, last week we kind of reacted from that level, which for me it's an important level. I would have preferred to see these highs, this level to be broken to the upside in order to actually give me more bias that price wants to go higher. It never really did that. We have this break in here, 6638, 66. $6638. Ah, you are already long for since 2 weeks ago. The 638 is in here. So you got long around the 11-10 of April. Now, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, because I kind of. Okay. So I'm holding this one. All right. Yeah, this could have been a good target for now. Because yeah, price even came all the way back in here, kind of respected it. I wouldn't mind to see actually kind of Aussie navigating a little bit more over to the downside, to be honest. It's a little bit choppy in here. I don't really like anything in here, and to be honest, but we do have kind of. I like where price reacted. Yeah, that I like it. I like that price kind of attempt to go higher in there and kind of got rejected straight away. Broke a little bit of these lows. Even I think managed to break a little bit these lows. So maybe there's a little bit of this demand zone in here, but aside from that, since we actually have already this low that broke this low, kind of where we got long in there, I wouldn't mind to actually see eventually price to fill all this, and even maybe resuming the move to the downside. Now we are still kind of in the middle, and price can do kind of whatever it wants. Bigger picture, I think eventually I would like to see price going a little bit lower, kind of manage to break those walls as well, and not even retesting this next level. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. We have Euro Aussie has been moving higher, Euro Aussie higher, kind of this one go down. We have the CPI, I think, coming out Tuesday or Wednesday in Australia. That can be a good catalyst. Yeah, as aside from that, again, quite choppy. Quite choppy in here. Yeah, it actually tend a little bit more to You can go either way, but bigger picture, I think I would prefer to see going lower before going up. And yes, where price reacted in here kind of makes sense to me. Yeah, I took some profits, right? Yeah, you did well then. Yeah, because on the retest of this level, that was nice. But yeah, price is set in the middle. I don't like anything that I can see in here. I just literally don't like anything that I can see in here. So yeah, I'll just literally kind of wait for price to literally break anything, something in there. Even in the lower time frame, right? So what do we have in the lower time frame? There was a little bit of a zone in here, which was quite nice actually, where price reacted from. Above this highs, kind of there was the zone in there that actually price reacted. You see, as you go deep into the lower time frame, you can find the supply. On the 30 minutes, you don't even see anything, but you start going a little bit farther down and you actually see the level where price reacted, and you have kind of this double top that never touched that level in there. Therefore, it was a good zone, and price actually reacted quite nicely from there, and then it turned. Yeah, this is kind of the moment that I was looking for the short on the Aussie yen. To be honest, Aussie yen was a little bit more clear in terms of the levels that it was reacting from. But yeah, nice turn on the Euro Aussie. Aussie dollar. Yep. And yeah, after that, kind of price moved down, kind of reacted from there, kind of this range once again. Yeah, I think maybe all these choppy moves as well is what maybe related to the dollar. Eventually, when you have the dollar moving, which can be a big factor as well, which direction is the dollar actually going to resume the move? If we see it going higher, or maybe Aussie going down, the opposite. Because if you're looking at Euro Aussie at this point, to Euro Aussie, really nice move as well, all the way to the retest this demand zone. If you had kind of broken a little bit underneath that, maybe you could have then aimed to a little bit more farther down, which kind of could lead the Aussie dollar to go higher. We are still in this bullish momentum it was actually a nice reaction from here. We are still in this bullish momentum on the Euro Aussie, even though kind of we have had a few strong moves down, but then eventually price find ways to resume the move upwards and maybe break the highs in here. So we're kind of still moving higher, right? We just took this high in here, and maybe are going to aim to go a little bit closer to this level in there. Nevertheless, I'm curious to see actually. Price is already kind of reacting a little bit because there's still maybe fresh orders in here at this high. So I'm curious to see also how price is going to open on Monday, because there's maybe some opportunities to look in here, even if this kind of move towards that level a little bit in here. In here, we already managed to break a little bit of these lows, which is nice to see. As I mentioned, kind of seeing lows broken on the way up. That can be interesting. And yes, all that is was still fresh somewhere in there. So maybe the Euro Aussie can actually give some clues to what maybe you expect from the Aussie dollar. Or we're just going to resume the move to the upside in there. Yep, I don't really like that price respected really nicely this demand zone. On the daily time frame, on the 4-hour time frame, and so on. I don't really like that factor. I would prefer to see kind of maybe, for example, this low doesn't really react from the extreme in here. That's a different kind of information. This low literally reacts from the extreme and the demand zone in there, kind of closes this price literally in there. But let's see how Euro Aussie going to open also on Monday. Maybe there's a potential to go down in here, and if it goes down in here, maybe Aussie dollar is going up. So yeah, just keeping an eye on that one. And then we have going to maybe start with the dollar yen. Right, so dollar yen, what do you have in here? Dollar yen is maybe actually the worst yen pair to have tried to short. even though it kind of still moved nicely, but looking at levels and how actually the others moved, there was better moves on the Euro Yen, I think, on the Yen and even Aussie Yen. Yes, so we were aiming for this highs, right? Last week we were kind of looking for that, for price to get closer to this highs. I'm still looking for price eventually to even take this highs, and maybe after that kind of move down. We managed to take this low in here, so that can actually may open the door for price to continue to move down. Maybe even from here can be already the scenario, can go a little bit higher in there, so that could happen. So this one is kind of a potential move further down, which will take yen index to go higher. Nevertheless, even from here, maybe could have that move upwards, maybe finally kind of reach a little bit this level, and then maybe have the move to the downside. So let's see when actually the space underneath this level is going to be filled. Is it going to be now from here, or eventually price wants to actually go first higher before moving down? When you do have those scenarios of maybe price actually creating space to go further down, maybe, I don't know, some, even if it is just a retest of this level, which there's literally still space in there, or even kind of retest something in here. One of the reasons that maybe price may even breaks the high first is if the high is not reacting still from where it should, kind of on the left side. So that's kind of when we need to be open-minded to see even price breaking new highs, keeping an eye out that this is an move down, but price maybe just wants to go higher first before doing that move. But that's where we are on the pound yen, on the euro, on the dollar yen, looking for price to go a little bit. I think we are going to still resume the move upwards in here. Nevertheless, pay attention to this one as well. Right, this is kind of an engulf down, but maybe the target for this engulf down is actually maybe all the way until there. Right, so there's maybe a little bit more room upwards to happen. And then we can go to Aussie yen. Right, so Aussie yen, this was the move. Right, it was actually one of the guys that in the past I used to trade much more Aussie yen. I have it on my radar, but I haven't really traded it for a long time. And you paid attention, right? This was a good level on the left side where kind of price reacted from. It was a beautiful level indeed, where this all kind of reacted from. There's a small demand zone in there, and you're starting to pay attention to what will be the target for a move from here. Especially after we managed to break this highs, because maybe the initial target from here could have been this level, but after you actually managed to break these highs and price was somewhere in here, when you started to analyze it, the target would be not just this one, it would be somewhere in here, or even the potential of going a little bit higher than this one towards maybe to the next level. But this was a target, so it was about patience. It was about to wait for price to eventually get there. And these are the type of setups that I'm starting to really focus on, all right? To see actually price being in a kind of in a sequence of a few bullish days or bearish days, but at the same time starting to show some weakness, right? I want to see this kind of compression as price is moving upwards or moving down, right? Literally with this weakness as price is like collecting out almost all the demand zones as price is moving out. Basically, this was still one of the last demand zones that is still fresh in here. Maybe a little bit that, then after that, it's almost everything is taken, right? So similar to what I mentioned on the euro index, on the yen index, maybe price actually is going to fill out this, but there's still maybe some levels that price can still respect, push price upwards before maybe that move happens. But yes, this is quite clear, really strong. Then we have a pause in here, which is really nice to see, kind of a little bit of a range happening until finally we have that move, right? So there was a really nice entry point in there, and then another one in there on the Aussie yen. A really nice reaction towards that supply level that was fresh left behind, because none of this, when this compression started, price never went there. So that's where it went now. Straight away takes the orders from these left shoulders in here and starts moving down. Even though it already with confirmation of this break of a low, it starts moving down, So there you go. It reached kind of one of the first targets. And let's see if by any chance we are going to resume the move down, which there's maybe that potential to happen. Now, is this going to be a reaction to more regarding the Aussie or the yen? Right? It's going to be Aussie weakness, or it's going to be yen strength. And this is kind of what you're going to pay attention to. And if it is a little bit of both, that's when maybe we can have a stronger move in that direction. Right? So yeah, let's see if it's kind of by any chance if Aussie is going to be looking strong, but yen is going to be looking strong as well. That's maybe then when you have a little bit of a range happening in here. So yes, on the radar, this Aussie yen pair with potential to maybe feel a little bit more to the downside, something to be aware of for next week. Even the yen pairs, right? Maybe yen index is going to actually feel all that compression to upwards. So keep an eye on that for next week. And then we have euro yen, a little bit similar, right? Another one, it's moving upwards in a lot of compression, maybe even already a few lows being broken on the way up, and with price getting really close to the highs back in October, right? The euro yen is kind of the one leading the way. For example, we are going to look at pound yen in a bit, and pound yen is basically still maybe trading somewhere from this level of structure or something like that. It's still quite far away from retesting the highs from October last year. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen on the euro yen. By chance if we're going to break a little bit above that level or not, or we are going to kind of respect this level. We have quite a few highs already in here, right? We have quite a few levels of structure in here. So eventually, if we actually create a new fake out before maybe the final move down, that could be, I wouldn't be 100% surprised if that happens. Again, we have this last month zone, none of in here kind of is all taken. This one, basically last one is taken in here, and there you go. Price kind of reacts from that one of the last ones. Eventually, I'll be looking for price to feel maybe the space all the way until this level. But for now, price found actually that space in here in the still kind of hold it and push price to the upside. So let's see if by any chance euro yen is going to literally find ways to respect again something in here at this size and move down, or we are going to actually maybe create a new fake out of all these highs before maybe making that move to the downside. Something that I'll be trying to follow and pay attention to. Of course, guys, you can definitely study whatever is inside here, pressure levels that are still inside this level in here, and of course then you can even go a step further and try to see whatever this high is out still reacting from the left side, because maybe this high didn't really react from where it should on the left side. Maybe the best supply level, for example, maybe it's a little bit higher, so we may actually have the final engulf of everything from this high in here before actually have maybe a massive sell on the euro yen. So that's still a potential possibility in here. So go look left, try to see actually where that euro yen high reacted from. Yeah, so again, euro yen, keep an eye on that, and the pound yen a little bit similar, right? Retesting this kind of lows in here. Eventually we may be closer to a potential big reversal, but as I mentioned, kind of, right? So euro yen is already kind of reacting from that really close to these highs back in October. Pound yen is still kind of lagging in that sense. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if by any chance we continue to move a little bit higher and we finally just turn after we take all these highs. So we may continue to move in kind of in a compression way in here until we finally take that high. I don't know if it's going to be, not sure if it's going to take so many highs to be taken, kind of created. But I wouldn't be surprised if you continue kind of to move a little bit in the compression way, slowly going higher, showing a little bit of weakness, and then maybe turning. So again, try to find out whatever is above in here that maybe can help and hold price down. So check where this high is reacting from, and if there's anything just next to it or above it, that could be a little bit better to look for another sell. To be honest, a lot of it is, at least on this time frame, looks a lot compressed. Not really sure if there's anything in there. Yeah, so let's see what's going to happen on pound yen. But it may be another one that I will definitely keep an eye on. Again, another one with a really strong compression, then all of a sudden the big spike up, and then the move down, right? So again, if you combine the information that you get from the end index, that you see that price reach a really nice level of demand, it's showing weakness, it has reached that trend line, it's broken, completely showing signs of potential reversal. We even had that high, that low that was faked out. We could start seeing potential moves upwards in there. Then you can go to the individual currency pair, Euro yen, Aussie yen, can be pound yen, can be whatever yen pair you want, especially if they are in alignment like they were in particular this end of the week. It even reinforces for a high probability setup, and you can see that this is basically due to the yen pairs. On the pound, we were kind of a little bit on the net range. Euro pound, we managed to go all the way back to test these highs once again. We had these left shoulders in here, price reacted quite nicely from there. In reality, there's a little bit of an engulfing here, so this actually may be an engulf down, because actually this low managed to break slightly with that low. So yeah, maybe this is on the cards in here. Maybe this euro pound actually, which kind of hold one more time these highs, maybe that's going to happen. Of course, we maybe still have a little bit of this level in here, but maybe this is actually the engulf down. Price went all the way back to test the highs, and from here we may actually have continuation to them to the downside, with maybe the next target kind of getting a little bit close to that level, or if not, literally this demand zone in here. So again, keeping an eye on this one on euro pound to see what the heck is going to happen next week. But there's maybe that more potential move to the downside, which kind of maybe will take pound to go higher. Pound in the UK, which is big concern with inflation, right? Inflation again staying above 10%, basically comparing with all the G7 countries. It's the highest inflation, and it's the one that is sticky. Doesn't go down for anything whatsoever. In the US, the peak, it was already kind of last summer. It was the peak in inflation. In the Eurozone, I think it was kind of October or November, and it's already kind of 6% or 5%, whatever. In the UK, still above 10, which is a big concern. CAD, what we have, CAD. There you go, right? So we talked about it last week. The potential of kind of price to go and resume again the move to the upside within this range. It was a really nice and strong move that we had, not this Friday, but the previous Friday, right? When all the pairs kind of moved at the same time. We talked about it, the potential of looking for price to move upwards. And there you go. It target the high, kind of, we took that already. A lot, somewhere in here is kind of a little bit of compressed, maybe can eventually target a little bit more higher, but since we literally spent all week, as you can see on this weekly candle, we literally spent all week going higher, sometimes a little bit in a compression way. Eventually you should be expecting a little bit of a retracement in here, right? So before maybe price or CAD kind of resuming the move upwards. So maybe that's going to happen. We're going to have a little bit of a retracement maybe before price eventually resume the move to the upside. Kind of price reacted for a little bit from there. There's not really anything in there that I was really keen on. I was looking for price to go slightly above it before maybe aiming for that reversal. It's another one that I was following it. Looking at the compression, we actually managed to break slightly this low not really see it on the 15 minutes, but you can see it in here. Kind of managed to slightly break this low. After that, we started this compression. So eventually, when we turn, we may target this low altogether, if not even actually going a little bit lower towards the next zone. So you want to pay attention to these levels. This can work quite nicely as your future target when eventually we turn. And we had that strong move upwards with the news, and then kind of price turn in there, right? So that's kind of where price paused, somewhere in here. Was there even anything in there? Yeah, I didn't really like anything. Maybe. Yeah, I didn't really like anything in there. I was looking for price to get a little bit higher and then kind of look for that short. Price just paused. Unfortunately, there you go. Maybe this level was still okay. Okay. Yeah, none of them kind of went there. Okay, fair enough. But I was looking for price to actually go a little bit higher before the turn. But yeah, that supply was still fresh indeed. Yeah, let's see if by any chance eventually price actually is going to kind of take this kind of double top from here and maybe get a little bit higher before the turn. So I'm wishing for price to go higher before actually making that turn or reverse, until maybe not even just in here, but actually maybe beginning of the move can actually maybe target something even a little bit lower than that. Yes, maybe looking for CAD maybe to make that move can be something interesting for this week. And then let's see, resume the move upwards, actually going a little bit further down. Let's see what CAD is going to do. Yeah, something that I'm going to paying attention to. Then we have this this dollar franc Swiss, right, that we've been looking for. Got another one that kind of moved quite strongly to the upside. We looked at it as a potential target. Naturally, it will be kind of the test of this previous daily range that we had in here, even considering even this low as well. So that could be kind of one of the first zones. Unfortunately, price actually paused slightly below that level. Didn't really reach the level in here. Kind of another one that I was looking a little bit higher before aiming for a potential short. Another one that kind of got a little bit shy towards that level, can never really reach the level, and then price turned. So what's next in here? Maybe trying to resume one more time, kind of close to those lows, and let's see if then we are going to continue to move higher, right? Price is kind of reacting from a good level in a higher time frame in there. So let's see if dollar franc Swiss makes a little bit more of a move down, maybe combining with the dollar index going down a little bit before moving to the upside. So something to keep an eye on in here. Maybe eventually have dollar index being in alignment with the dollar franc Swiss being in alignment with dollar index and moving higher. Yeah, something to look for. Yeah. Welcome, BMFX. Thanks for taking the time, man. Yeah, gold. What you're looking at, gold. Yeah, got another one. Nice reaction since the 14. Another one that turned kind of around the same time. We are getting really close to those double top, right? It was one of the last zones in here. Aside from that, there's maybe just another one. And then we are at the all-time highs, kind of reacting from that double top, right? So let's see. Key level to look for, just as a simple one, this previous level of resistance, somewhere in there. I think we can aim towards that level. Gold was another a little bit of strange one. Yes, we had broken this low. That's something that I was looking for as a continuation to move to the downside. We did that, and we slightly even kind of this high kind of slightly took that high, kind of still reacting in there, and now resuming down. I'm looking for gold literally to go a little bit lower instead of just pausing in here. So that's kind of what I was looking for gold to go maybe another leg down before maybe resuming the move upwards, getting closer in there. That could be one possibility in here. So kind of respected this low. That's okay. Kind of created now that double bottom. But I wouldn't mind to see kind of gold going a little bit closer to this level instead of just pausing in here. Now let's see what gold's going to do as well. Eventually, when it goes upward in here, we'll see what's going to happen. Now, is there still kind of short opportunity somewhere in here? Maybe above these levels? Maybe. Especially if you kind of manage to start breaking these lows, and even if you literally break even below this level, that can open the door to go even farther down. If you do that, if you break literally below this level, we may actually aim to go much farther down in here. So this is quite important for me. Then we can literally kind of take the low in reverse, but that may open the door for eventually for price to, after some kind of reverse of retracement, maybe resume the move down. Now we kind of still have this demand zone in here, which can still be working. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, let's see. Something to look at as well is oil. Oil, this is a weird one. I think this is kind of just on the server that I'm using. I don't think that move happened, but actually, because of that spike, price actually reacted from a supply level that I had for a long time. If you guys remember, I had this level in here for a long time above these highs. Price kind of respected all this structure for a long time until eventually kind of slightly broke it, and price kind of with that spike actually went to react from the zone that I had marked in there. We finally managed to break below that level. A natural target that maybe many people are looking for is the retest of this low from the gap, right? $75 mark, 75.70. Meanwhile, we still had a little bit maybe of a few zones in here. Kind of had this previous level supply in here that maybe can hold price a little bit to the upside, but nevertheless, right? It's going to be a little bit risky always to maybe try to go long, knowing that we have this gap to be filled in here. So bigger picture, I think I'll be just better off just waiting for the gap to be filled and then kind of pay attention to what maybe to expect. I was looking for a short in here. Price again never really reached that level, but that was it on oil. So there you go. Are you going to fill the space in here, this gap? And what happens after that? It's kind of something to keep an eye on. Resuming the move upwards or not. So let's see what's going to happen. If by any chance maybe price retraces before even filling this space, maybe there's another opportunity to look for a sell. Trying to look for that move to be done in there. Yeah. Now, crypto. Actually, EURUSD is approaching an interesting level. EURUSD had a really nice potential opportunity, or had a potential short in here, but now we're approaching these important highs in here. This was a nice reaction from this level. Yes, the extreme may be still kind of trying to approach a little bit that level. We even have these highs in here. That's kind of even for into the future. We kind of respected this level. Didn't really manage to properly break a zone that can be a little bit of a concern in terms of looking for more sales within that level. But I do like that this level in here. Price is kind of reacting a little bit from something in here, but I would like to see maybe price still taking this high into that level. So there's maybe this supply zone above these highs. that can actually be a potential good setup on the euro card. Whatever, something in here, whatever. Above that level. Yeah, that can be interesting. Weird. It's just something to keep an eye on, and I'll try to keep my eyes open for these potential opportunities in these more minor pairs. There's maybe some good opportunities to take advantage of. There's maybe still something in here as well. There's maybe even something underneath this level that price could use. Is that where price reacted right now? Things may be a little bit higher. So again, following this compression zone, maybe even if the trade is just maybe targeting a little bit, maybe getting closer to this level, that can be more than enough. Targeting a little bit these lows in here, kind of paying attention to some kind of trend line in here, compression zone, that may be maybe looking at it. So let's see what's going to happen on the euro card. If by any chance we're going to have that potential move. We already have a little bit of this height, work a little bit as a zone of liquidity. Yeah, going a little bit higher. Where is the rectangle? Okay, yeah, trying to aim towards that level in there, and let's see what's going to happen next. Something to keep an eye on as well on euro card. Maybe that can be eventually for the drop on the euro, for example. So as you can see, many of euro pairs went higher. You have euro Aussie, you have euro card, even euro pound slightly, euro dollar kind of just ranging, and so on. Now let's take a look at BTC. Right, so BTC just crashed, right? This week it moved to the downside. BTC, Bitcoin, this high in here reacted from that level. I don't know if you are still there, Jack, which levels that we are working on Bitcoin or not. This one in here at the highs, it reacted from where it should, right? So basically one of the last supply levels within this level, within these highs inside there. That was a really nice zone to look for a reaction, and price did it. Aside from that, almost everything has been taken, maybe just the extreme of the extreme eventually, or something in there. So that was done. After that, kind of broke into this level, and then kind of continued to break into this level until we kind of reached that level. Really nice potential setup in there. Right. Unfortunately, this was kind of what I was starting to look for. A short in here, kind of this supply level. As you can see, it was quite strong, fresh. Not this highs never reacted from there. So this was a really nice reaction. Then some short in there. Price reacted from the demand zone in here. Didn't really open this price. I would have preferred to see actually this kind of breaking a little bit, so then kind of to look for a second opportunity for a potential sell in there. That never did. This one kind of respected quite nicely, so didn't really open that door. But you could have maybe looked for some kind of price action in alignment in here to maybe look for the sell. Then you have the big drop, which will take this low and kind of open doors to look for more move to the downside. Potential zone to pay attention to, maybe everything here. As you can see, kind of had a little bit of a reaction, then a little bit even more at the extreme. Again, kind of a little bit more of another reaction somewhere from there. All these spikes in here, then maybe something in here that kind of price kind of still reacted a little bit from there, and then all this below, basically below this demand, everything was taken, even considering this low. We just took that low, and I am actually aiming to see price going towards this 26,916, something in here. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So price paused at this point. It just took this low, but I'm actually looking for price to go a little bit lower than that and maybe aim to look for a potential long opportunity in here. Now, I don't know if price is going to just resume from here. It may not. But I remember this was a level that I was already looking for. Even when we had this low, I was already looking for price to go there. That low never really went there. So that's kind of where I'm looking for at this point. I think it's still a little bit fresh. BTC kind of likes to respect some fresh levels. At least for some kind of reaction, I'm looking for price to get there. If by any chance then we actually completely go a little bit further down, we break out actually these lows, then not really, at least for me, next destination it will be this 25k mark. Previous level support resistance all in there. So let's see. For now, it's actually maybe nice to see price kind of ranging a little bit. Let it range a little bit. Let it maybe even break a new high in here. Looks like maybe it may be in a bullish or starting to kind of navigate a little bit more to the upside, making it look like this low is actually being respected. So then we can have maybe that move, and at least aiming this previous level of demand and towards this level. So I think there's maybe that potential to go from here at least until here. Yeah, so I would prefer, as you can see, for price maybe to even create a new high, navigate towards this level before even reaches this level. So I want this first before this is before price moves there. So kind of that's my short-term view on BTC, what I'm kind of trying to look for. And I'm going to be more active on Bitcoin. Yep, I will do that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to try to do. And that's basically it. Maybe today I can kind of new levels are being created in here, so to respect it. We have that line kind of being respected. Maybe now new demand zone are being created in here. Then eventually maybe can kind of take that. I could create that question like that and go down, and eventually this kind of what I'm looking for. All right, yeah, it's maybe something to look for. Then we have Ethereum, right? Which also moved quite strongly to the downside. This week went all the way to the extreme of kind of this range, which we reacted from kind of that level. That's kind of where it is right now. Basically filled out this compression and took the highs from August in the summer, but he never really managed to break a little bit of this structure. We are in here, so it stayed a little bit slightly within that level. Then okay, we had that move, we had that demand zone that kind of would have respected price to the upside. It didn't kind of respect it to the downside, and there you go. I managed to break also this kind of demand, this trend line that we had in here. Not pausing in here, not really sure if that's the level. For price to pause, you may break this, will go a little bit towards that level, if not even completely navigate all the way back to this 1700 zone, respecting maybe this level in here. So let's see what's going to happen on Ethereum as well. Maybe a little bit of a move downside so far, kind of reacting from this level. So let's see. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. All right. Yeah, even 7 as well, moving down. Kind of respected it level. It's moving down. This target somewhere in here. So a little bit more of a move to the downside. Kind of that one respected. Yeah, nice, nicely done in here. Yeah, I think there's a little bit more of a move to the downside in here, so it is towards that zone. That's it, guys. Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, looking forward for next week. Paying attention on the... Yes, Dixon, my friend. Yes, yes, yes. Always the same approach, man. Always the same approach. Maybe just be cautious with the aggressiveness of the moves. In terms of target expectations, but kind of it's always the same type of movements. Yeah, always the same kind of movements. And you can see, right, as you know, you kind of can see them. From what we did this week, I think if you open a Bitcoin chart, I think you can kind of see a little bit the same important zones being respected and how price navigates in between them. So yeah, man. Yep. All right. That's it for me. Guys, thank you again. Thank you, Trader FX. I hope you didn't fall asleep by listening to me. I hope you also got some value from it. Dixon, looking forward for next week. Yeah, you're welcome, Dixon. Yeah, let's kick some ass next week as well. Keeping an eye on the end pairs again. Now the dollar CAD, right? Did you close your dollar CAD? You tried to short it, right? You try to scale in on dollar CAD after the spike, which was a nice patience of waiting for it, and then try to short it. I would still like to see a little bit higher before that. Let's see what's going to happen. Maybe you can use this high as kind of liquidity before maybe a move down, or maybe that's kind of the liquidity that was in there, and price action maybe just continue and to move down and maybe fill this range in here. Yeah. Yeah, looking forward for next week. Yeah, not being exposed over the weekend, right? It's important. Right, thank you guys. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next Saturday. Big week ahead. Let's go. Let's kick some ass. Let's make some money this week. You again, subscribe, like, share with your friends if you get some value. Yeah, let's try to grow the channel. See you next time. Obrigado. Next time.